Alright, so today I'm gonna do a video. Actually, I'm doing it right now, but anyway, I'm gonna do, whatever. So, I'm gonna talk about how to do the, rook and king versus king checkmate. And, yeah, I'm gonna talk about the different methods of doing it. The first thing I want to point out is that if you have two rooks, it's easier to do this method of simply, because the rooks dominate the two ranks, or files, or whatever the case is. So what you do is you keep control of the two ranks, or files, or whatever it is, in front of the king, so that you can slowly bring him back to the edge. And so, if this didn't make sense or whatever, you can watch it a few times, but this is checkmate, as you can see. They just dominate. Simple as that. Alright, but let's talk about if you only have one rook. It's pretty important to know this. One method is to simply create a box where you keep the box from getting smaller and smaller. As you can see, the king is, stuck. So this guards that square, but he still has all of these, and eventually what happens is you slowly get into a position where you can slowly make the box smaller and smaller and smaller, to the point where it's why don't I just turn on the computer so it can play for me? It just gets smaller and smaller and smaller, so it's eventually, though, you have to be careful for stalemate. So the practice with the computer thing isn't working. Okay, it is. So what you do is just make the box, and then you bring your king in. I mean, there's different, ways of doing this, obviously, but this is one of them. And then, and then checkmate. So, that's just one. That's one method. So, what makes this method is a good method if you're, let's say, playing a speed chess game or whatever, and you're down on time. This method's pretty good. Doesn't take too much analyzing, just basic, just closing the king in. Anyways, let's take a look at another way. So, the other way is to most of the time have the kings, you want to go for the opposition. So what you do is you might start the same move, but instead what you do is the king does most of the work. And so what you do is you can still do this, or you can still control the ranks and files, but instead of controlling everything, you're just controlling one rank or file at a time. And then when you get the opportunity, then you do, when the kings are at opposition and it's white's turn to move, then you do the rook check. That's when you do it. You don't do it before then. So what you do is you keep the kings most of the time like at a knight's distance. And so, okay, I messed this up. So that it gets to a point where the king is forced to go into the opposition against the white king on the white king's turn. So, or the other king's turn, and get the checkmate. So, I'll just show that. as you can see, that is one way to do it. So as you can see, there's the two methods. They both of these methods. Oh, this is funny. Both of these methods had the checkmate on the exact same square and ended at the same move. That was kind of, I wasn't planning on that, but anyway. So it's kind of interesting. Just it's good to practice, and I will leave a link to where you can play this position against the computer. And yeah, helped you out any in playing chess. Sounds pretty good. Anyways, bye for now.